Okay, I I'm in. Let me know if the sound is okay, picture is okay. How you doing, Anthony? I'm glad you're the first one that popped in here. I'm a minute early. Can you hear me? Sound okay? Perfect. Thank you very much. We'll wait for a few other people to come in, and we'll see if we can get going here. I wanted to talk about hooks, lines, and sinkers. Yeah, we can see where the conversation goes. I don't care if it gets off of that subject or not. It's okay. But wait a few minutes, see if anybody else comes in. And of course, most of the stuff that I have prepared has to do something with catfishing, since that's what I think. I think we have a catfish crowd here for the most part, or at least close to it. Which I will be doing tomorrow. By the way, I'm going to go down to the river. I plan on being there about 9 o'clock and going live, and we'll see if we can catch a couple channel cats. You can put on your pajamas. Okay. Put something on, for God's sake. You notice too, I got you wrenched up. I went back after it was all done last time, and I went through the chat and I figured out how to do that, and I can probably do it right from here. Yeah, now I realize that I can, so that's okay. Got my heater on here because down in my basement it's a little chilly. It was, I think this morning it was like 28 degrees. It got up to 50 some today, but the sun came out, the wind died down. It was actually pretty nice. I actually got out and cut the grass. Anyway, I got all my stuff ready to go here with hooks, lines, and sinkers, all kinds of sinkers and stuff. I'll lay some stuff out here to get ready. I think I might have done too much prep. Too much prep. Anyway, it's raining now and then turned up. Oh, light snow. Anthony, I forget where you're at. Where are you? Are you up in New York? Oh, Wisconsin. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's going to take a while until I get used to where everybody is at. But that's kind of typical for Wisconsin, I guess. Are you up in the northern part near the Dells, or are you middle of it, closer to Minnesota? Milwaukee. Okay. That's somewhere in Wisconsin. Not sure where that ends up exactly. Anyway, so I take it you do some catfishing up there, right? Or are you all bass, muskies, and walleyes? 120 miles north of Chicago. I drove through Chicago one time, and I'll never do it again. God, that was horrible. 8-lane highway, bumper to bumper, every lane. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. I was out west last year, and on my way back, I was going to go over to Detroit. So the shortest way would have been through Chicago on, I think, Route 90. But I avoided that, and I went all the way up and around Lake, I guess that was Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, one of them, all the way up and around over the Mackinac Bridge, and then back down to Detroit that way. And I avoided Chicago. Took me about 4 extra hours, but yeah, whatever. Huron, yeah, Lake Huron. Lake Huron's on the eastern side of Michigan. And that's where it comes down at. When you cross Mackinac Bridge, Lake Huron's here, and Lake Michigan's up on the top. I think I got that right. Good. Geography was always a strong subject for me in school. Other than that, I hated every other thing. Hated it. The people from Michigan go like this. They're either from here or from up here. So, what are you fishing for up in your neck of the woods? And again, until I get used to everybody, I just can't remember what's going on with everybody. I'm sure you can understand that. Somebody else will pop in here in a couple minutes. Maybe it'll just be you and me. Who knows? Walleye, crappie, bass, and pike. Some of my favorites. We just don't have that good of fishing around here in my neck of the woods for walleye. Crappie are okay in some lakes and not in the others. Bass, pretty good bass fishing around here. We got very little pike. We got a lot of pickerel, but pike, you got to go up farther north into New York and Canada, or of course out your way. But I do like the bass fishing, especially brown rainbows. So yeah, you got all them. And I don't do much of that anymore. I used to go crazy every year in September when they started to spawn and run up the creeks. I got my one, I think you saw it last time, I won 14-pound steelheads there. And he mounted and hanging up. That was out of Lake Ontario in 1984, probably before you were born. Fisherman's Paradise, yeah, I know. So goes the song of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Thomas, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate you being here. Anthony and I are just kind of shooting the breeze. Nothing particular here. 64, okay. Born in 64, you're 64 years old. I get it, you're 64 years old. Thomas, what's happening in your neck of the woods? Where are you from? I forget. I'm sure you probably told me before, but I forget. And if you notice there, I got you wrenched up. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're the local guy. I'll remember that one of these days. I just can't make it all sink in all that quick. Douglasville. I'm going tomorrow. I'm going down the river. I plan on going live about 9 o'clock in the morning, and of course, try to get some of those channel cats. So I hope that goes well. It's not supposed to be a great day. It's supposed to be cloudy, cool. But as long as the wind stays down, I'll be okay. So we'll see how that goes. I hope to draw some people in. And I still have not figured out how to see how many people are here, how many people are watching, how many people gave me likes. I don't know. What's this arrow do? What's this do? Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I wanted. Douglasville. I'm going up, if this weather ever improves, probably 3 weeks I'll go up to Lake Onalani and try to get some pre-spawn bass and hopefully a snakehead. Anyway, let's see. We're going to talk about hooks, lines, and sinkers. I don't know I can do that with just two people, but I got all my sinkers lined up here and what different kinds and different kind of hooks. And last week we were talking a little bit about circle hooks, and I mentioned there's two different kinds. There's probably more, but there's a inline and an offset circle hook. The offset circle hooks, which I have an example of, I didn't know this until recently. I started reading about this stuff. This is the typical circle hook, and you can probably see that that's pretty straight on when you look at it. Trying to get it right for the camera. That's the non-offset. This is the offset, and you can where's the camera? And you can see this has got a good curve to it. And they say the advantage of it is when the fish takes this one into their mouth, that curve is going to grab them farther down the throat. And that's why these are, I think they're illegal. I know in Maryland, when you're fishing for stripers at a certain time of year, because you can gut hook them with these circle hooks. The straight on circle hooks are the ones that'll slide through the fish's mouth, and just when it just about comes out a little bit, that'll turn, and that's why it hooks them into the side of their mouth. Works good every time. You like the offset. What do you use them for, Tom? Catfish? I didn't even know they existed until, I don't know, a couple months ago. I realized there was a couple cats and carp. Now, do you find that those hooks, when you do catch the fish, are they always in the corner of their mouth, or are they down in a little deeper, like it says that those hooks actually do? It says you get a better hookup, but you can hook them deeper, unlike the other ones. So that was kind of surprising for me. And if you're fishing for carp with them, what size hook are you using for carp? I'd like to know, because I don't know. A 4, okay, that makes sense. How about the catfish? Are you into 6 and 8s? I even got something made up there for hook size. You can see the difference there. I use the 6s most of the time. The 8s I know Bob uses from Any Fin Is Possible. He always says the 8s. When I first started fishing for catfish, I was using 5s, and 2, and I realized they were a bit small for the flatheads. So you use a number 4 for carp and what, 2 for the catfish? 2/0. No, that's not right. 2/0 would be pretty small, wouldn't it? Maybe I'm crazy. Oh well. And Tom, where are you fishing for the fish that we're talking about? You come down to the river? Everything's backwards on. Don't blame me for not remembering everything here, guys. Can't remember where you're from, what you do. That's why I'm going to keep asking until it sinks in the old noggin. Anyway, so much for hooks, huh? Got when we fished the river. Oh, Green Lane. I need to know Yeah, I know it takes a minute to type, especially if you never took typing in school. Uh, in Green Lane, do you fish in the main reservoir, and do you fish near the? I guess there's a main entrance there, and they have a little like an office building. You fish along that area there. I haven't been there for years, but I know it's full of carp. I'd like to try it for carp one of these days. The boathouse. That's where. Do they still rent the boats there? I know they used to rent boats with electric motors. It's probably still in the same place. Yeah, but I think you can fish along the shore or from shore right in that area and catch carp. Am I right? Tell me I'm right. Okay. All right. I'll have to go check it out one of these days and just do a little investigative work and then figure out where I'm going to go fishing because I know it's full of carp. I would like to take the grandkids there and have them hook up a couple times. So we're going to talk about some sinkers. I got a good mess of them lined up. In the river with the current, I've been using what they call river sinkers with the flat ones. And the whole idea there with them, of course, you guys probably know, they come in different sizes. The whole idea there is they'll lay flat on the bottom and the current won't be able to get a hold of them very well. So they won't move around on you too much. So depending on how rough the current is will determine how much weight you need. I think I've been using 3s when the river's at a normal flow. And I know last week when it was a little higher, I was using a 4. And that wasn't quite enough. I could have used a 5, but I didn't have any with me. So 5. But anyway, the flat ones are the ones that get to the bottom and lay on the bottom without the current moving them around a lot. Found this one the other day. This is kind of a different looking one I've never seen before, but it's the same type. It's flat. And then I found a 5-ouncer. Where's that camera? Got a hole in there. So this is an inline river sinker. In other words, the line goes through it rather than hooking it up. Inline sinkers. I'm learning a lot of stuff. You guys probably know all this. What we got here? All right, the egg sinkers, the river rigs. Now you find that the egg sinkers kind of roll around a little bit. Got a couple of them here, like that. Kind of this kind of stuff. That's an inline one. As is this. Where's my camera? There it is. I use inline no roll. Yeah, well, this is what I would call, an inline no roll. This is what I would call an inline no roll. This is a 5-ouncer, but I'm sure they come in a little bit smaller. These are pretty common sinkers here. These pyramid sinkers. These are good for the river too. They don't get hung up as much. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right about that. This is probably the most common thing that I see people using is these pyramid jobs. And reading about them, one of the good features of them is because of their shape, they get to the bottom a lot quicker. If you're in deeper water, like a bullet. When I was a kid, and I'm sure these sinkers aren't that old, but these are just the regular. What do they call these things? Teardrop. teardrop sinkers. Yeah, just these. This is the only sinker I knew about until I was much older. Teardrop. All different sizes. I got one here though that I bet you won't know the name of it. Used to use these a lot for when I was trout fishing, or these are rubber core. These are easy to put on the line. You just put your line right through that slot there, and then you turn the rubber, and it pushes the line in, and you got it. Easy on, easy off. Comes in all, of course, different weights. There's a couple small ones compared to the big one. Yeah, it's old school. I am old school. And then, of course, you got, for those of us that do a little bass fishing, the typical drop shot. These, of course, come in much bigger sizes or less. You can really use any type of sinker for a drop shot, but they make these special. They go on your line very easy. You stick your line through that top metal area and slide it up, and it catches right away. These are called Dipsy. This is one you can use for drop shotting too. Dipsy sinkers. This is a real small one. Of course, they come bigger. All these sinkers come bigger. And then you got, again, for bass fishermen, the good old bullet weight, which you use with rubber worms or rubber creatures and that kind of stuff. A bell sinker. I don't know what they look like, unless we're calling them a different name. I'm not sure what a bell sinker is. I've heard that name before. I'm not sure what. I bet it looks like a bell though. I wonder if this is what they call a bell sinker. I don't know. I'm going too fast. Okay. I'll slow down. Ooh. So is the video kind of jumping ahead of the chat? Is that what's going on? Probably if I had 20 people in here, it'd be a disaster. It's good. Okay. I can't type fast. I can't read fast. I took typing when I was in the service, and I can type 500 words a minute, and I can even spell some of them correctly. So there you go. Anyway, where are we at? Here's the talking too fast, huh? Am I talking slower now? Anyway, I got a sinker here. Fish on Ed Evans. Thanks for coming in, Ed. And butterflies. Appreciate you jumping in. And we're chatting about different types of sinkers. We've been through, the flat river sinkers. Now I'm told I'm talking too fast. We've been through some inline sinkers, some pyramid sinkers. What they're good for and when to use them. You figured out how to go horizontal. Horizontal. I'm on my laptop right now. Tomorrow, I had told the other guys, tomorrow about 9 o'clock, I'm going live. I'll be down the river down along the normal area there that everybody goes to. 9 o'clock, I'm going to try to go live down there and catch a few catfish. Hope you can join in. Yeah, so I'm on my laptop here. I mean, it's the only horizontal is the only way to go. When I have the phone tomorrow, I'll be the other way, vertical, just like everybody else does. Okay, that explains it. Yeah, I'm on my laptop down here. It's much easier. I don't have to do this to see the chat. I can see it from back here. Anyway, we're talking about sinkers right now. I'll get back to the hooks too, since you guys just come in. But I want to see if anybody can name this type of sinker. This is a very popular sinker when you're fishing in the surf or places like that. What is it? Name it. I've been her. I've been her. You can even Google it if you can figure out what the name it is. I bought this specifically the other day. I bought this to see if anybody would know what it is. I know what it is because I looked it up. Oh, come on, Tom. Yeah, but what's it look like? It looks like what the name of it is. I'll give you a couple minutes to figure that out. We were talking, Ed and Butterflies, we were talking about hooks a little while ago. And I have an example of the, yeah, I just dropped it. Wait a second. This is the typical hook we all use probably for flatheads and so forth. It's straight on, or they call it what do they? I can't remember what they call it. This is a non-offset, so you can see it's kind of like the shank and the barb and all are just kind of straight on. This one here is a offset hook, and you can see how different this is. It's got that curve to it. And they tell me that these offset hooks do have a better hookup ratio because they'll hook the fish anywhere down in the mouth instead of right in the corner all the time. I'm sure that can be argued. But the regular circle hooks, of course, we all know are always right in the corner of the mouth when you bring the fish up. They're great. Spaceship, you're getting close, Anthony. What kind of spaceship? You're getting close. That's a good guess, actually. That's a good guess. You got to think way back into the early 1950s. And Forrest, thanks for coming in. Have you ever tried hot dogs for bait? You know what? I haven't tried them for many, many years. I used to catch sunfish on little chunks of hot dog, but I know you're talking about catfish. I'm sure some of the guys here did. Some of the gals probably did. Definitely hook up better with the offset. Yeah, I agree, Tom. That's what I read it's about. I also know that, and I said it before, the regulations down in Maryland when you're fishing for stripers, I think at a certain time of year, you're not allowed to use those offset hooks. Lost in Space. That was a good show. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Sputnik, you got it. You got it, Ed. Sputnik, 1952 or 3, Russia put up a satellite, and it was named Sputnik. It looks something like them. Where'd you find that, Ed? I know you had to look that up. Maybe, I don't know. Sputnik. New Jersey Guard 67, welcome aboard. Thanks for stopping by. We're talking about anything and everything, specifically hooks, lines, and sinkers. And of course, we're always leaning toward the catfish end of all this stuff. And I'm fairly new at the catfish game, the flathead game anyway. I started fishing for them, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. And every year I pick up something from the people that have been doing it longer. So right now I don't know everything, but I'm learning. I made this presentation. Wait a minute. Boom. I made this board up just so people could see the different sizes of the hooks. 8/0, 6/0, 5/0, 4/0. Most of us, I think, use a 6 or an 8/0. I know Bob from Any Fin Is Possible swears by 8. I haven't gone that big yet. I'm usually using 6s. There you go. Yeah, Ed, the Sputnik, they say, is a good one for the surf. Those things dig in. So they're pretty good. I guess they come in bigger sizes too, but I did pick that one up specifically to show you tonight because I've never seen one of these, but I saw it yesterday or the other day in a tackle shop and got it. Speaking of tackle shops, do you guys ever go to Sport Fish Outlet down there in, I guess it's West Norton? It's a little expensive, but boy, he's got everything. But it's a local tackle shop that I tend to support on occasion when I'm looking for something that's really kind of hard to find at Dick's Sporting Goods. You still have some of them, huh, Ed? New Jersey Guard, what's happening in your neck of the woods tonight? Used to be, Harry Kenneth. I don't remember that. I basically just ran. I don't live too far from there, and I've been going there for probably 4 or 5 years. If you haven't been in there recently, and you probably have, but if you haven't been, they really got a nice. When you walk in, half the stuff on the right hand side of the shop is saltwater, and the right hand side is soft water. The right hand side is freshwater, and the left hand side is saltwater. Forrest, sinker before or after the hook? Well, that's a good one. Depends on if you're drop shotting or what you're fishing for, I guess. But that brings us to another subject of rigs. So fishing for catfish, I think most of us will use. I got all kinds of stuff ready here. Let me just. Yeah, let me see. When I'm fishing for catfish, I'm setting up like I'm going to show you here in a minute. And I think most people will agree, but everybody could be a little different. I got my hook there, the leader of whatever material you want. Then I got the sinker on a slide like that. So when the fish takes the bait and runs a little bit, the sinker will run up the line. The fish won't feel the resistance. It won't drop the bait so quick. So in this case, the hook is always on the bottom, and I got my sinker on a slide right above that. I use the Santee Cooper rig. Yep, one of these. I just bought a couple of these the other day, and I know you do, Ed, but you have those really big floats on there, and I'm sure that keeps your bait well off the bottom. These are smaller floats, but yeah, that's the Santee Cooper rig, and I know you're rigged up. The one day I saw all your rods on your boat, those big long floats blew my mind. But they work, obviously, with a 10-aught circle hook. Oof, I haven't even seen a 10-aught hook. How come you use them so big? Is that just? It's just. I guess that's what's good for you. Again, I've been using 6-aught. I haven't graduated to the H yet, but I probably will when I start putting sunfish on for flatheads this spring. They are the Demon Dragons. Oh, okay. That's probably the proper name for them, but they're floats, right? They're big floats. Now, there's Tom. There's something that one person will say this, one person will say that. I've never used a Santee Cooper rig before with the float, so the fish I'm catching are always with the bait on the bottom, unless the sunfish decides to come up a little bit. Talk to Ed about it. I'm sure his bait is suspended a little bit. Probably makes it easier for the fish to grab since it's up in front of them. And the fish are always looking up. So if you have that bait up a little bit, big baits. I get sunfish that are 4 or 5 inches, and I think that's a big bait. But if you're using bigger ones, I know people do. But when I get a 6-inch sunfish or a 7, I'm thinking that's too big. But I probably shouldn't think that way. I should think just the opposite. Big baits, big fish, right? Yes, butterflies with her, what was a 42-pounder she got, or something close to that. I'll bet that was on a big bait. What else we got here tonight? Got hooks? Oh, I know. How about line? This is something else that'll start a good discussion. All my rods I have 50-pound braid Power Pro line on. I don't use a monofilament leader. I just go with braid and braid leader. And I know some people will go, "Oh my God, you can't do that." So it was 35.7. So, I have monofilament leader. This is 50-pound test. You could do that. And I think on these Santee Cooper rigs, the Santee rigs, I think the line that they come with already set up, that looks pretty thick. So I'd probably say that's 40 or 50-pound test leader. I don't really think the flatheads can see the Power Pro line that I use. I don't think they can really see that. But, if you want to use the fluorescent or the monofilament leader, more power to you. Fluoroclear, copolymer, Vanish. There's all kinds of leader material you can use. Fluorocarbon line sinks or mono float. You're correct about that. But when you have a 4-ounce sinker on there, it's going to sink anyway. But yes, you're correct. I don't really get into the line situation that much because there's so many variables. And again, I do not claim to know anything about anything, but I know something about something. So anything that you folks are throwing out here, Ed, I got to give you a a wrench, don't I? Let's see if I can do that. I think I gave you a wrench. Where's Butterflies? Is she still around? I'll give her one. You didn't have one before because I didn't know how to do it. Forrest, I'll take care of you here in a second. There you go. Giving you all a little bit of power. Don't misuse it. Where's Butterflies? There she is. Let me give her a little bit of power. Okay. I think I got everybody wrenched up. I'm just learning how to do that. So, okay, I just gave you a wrench. You should be, Butterflies, I just gave you a wrench. You should be coming up with the wrench here. Let me check and see if I did that right. Yeah, you got it. Should come up that way. There it is. Okay, now we got it. Okay, everybody's wrenched up. I didn't know how to do that last week. So I went back after we were all done. I went back in, looked at the chat line, and figured it out. And then as you come on here today, I'm getting that done. So, Ed, you use a mono leader of some type, don't you? What do you use? I'm going to get out on the boat with you this year. I'm going to take notes. But I know the stuff you use is a little bit heavier than what I'm using from the bank. You got all the bait casting reels and probably a bit of stiffer pole. I'm just using the standard Walmart catfish, ugly stick catfish rod. Mono on both my main line and leader. Okay, and what pound test mono on your main line? I'm going too fast. Tell me. Scroll up. Oh man, I don't want to do that. Let me see. How far up do I gotta go? I don't see it. I do not see it. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Flatheads Flatheads are not line shy, that's for sure. You 50-pound, 100-pound leader. Okay, yeah, you're in the heavyweight classes. I'm not in there yet. 100-pound leader. Why so heavy of a leader? What's the theory on that? I'm not mocking your decision. I'm questioning as to why you feel it's necessary. Got to be a reason. No chances. Yeah, he takes no chances. One of these days he'll hook a 60-pounder and he'll be glad he has all that because I fish and. Oh, okay. All right. If you get snagged up, isn't that a little hard to break it off? I would think it is. Anyway. And you probably use some type of, well, whatever sinker you use some type of slide. Am I correct? We were talking about that a little bit ago. Sometimes I use these things here. This goes on the line, and then it slides up and down the line with the weight on it. I'd rather break off on the structure. Yeah, but how do you break it off if it's 100-pound? Well, you're not really breaking the leader. I guess you're breaking the main line. I fish a lake here in North Carolina, the size 4 hook and a slide egg sinker. Yeah, we were talking about egg sinkers a little bit ago. Inline egg sinkers first. What are you fishing for down there in North Carolina? In a lake. Okay. I'll have to take a better look at your rigs when I see you again, Ed. I was so surprised at that big float that you have on there. I forget what you just called it. I didn't look at all the other stuff. It looks like I got 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 people here. And again, I can't, there's nowhere on here that shows me how many people I got. Channel cats, okay. You're in a lake though, so you don't really have any current, so you don't got to worry too much about the current moving your sinker around. Let's see, we got Thomas. Thomas or Ed, have you ever fished Blue Marsh Lake for flatheads? I know they're in there, and I know they got to be big. PB 7-pound channel. There you go. 7-pound channel. That's a pretty common weight in the river we fish here, Schuylkill River. Some of them get much bigger. I see 6 people. Thank you. Come on, you other 5. Yeah, really. We're trying. Did I mention I was going to go live tomorrow at 9 o'clock on the river? I think I did. I'm just going to mention it again and again and again. If everything goes right. Anthony, you've fished Blue Marsh? Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Talking too fast. That's where well, yeah, I put up a notification for tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I had one up for the chat right here, and then the next one I just put that up about an hour or two ago about tomorrow. So you may have mixed them up a little bit. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have your coffee ready. I'll have mine ready. I'm going to get 3 lines in. I'm going to sit back and hopefully get some big channel cats. I saw a thumbnail and saw 9. Ah, no. Nope, that one's for tomorrow. Somewhere on that thumbnail, it should say the date and the time. The 10th. Blue Marsh is not a Dead Sea, Thomas. That's kind of a lot. Oh, the Dead Sea. A lot of nice smallmouth in there, largemouth, muskies. Yeah, some days you can get skunked, and other days you can makes you feel like a pro. It just depends. There's a lot of structure to fish. There's a lot of room for the fish to move around. You just got to find them. If you're constantly beating the bank, you're not going to find the fish all the time. I'm sure it did. You know I'm blonde. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. So we get that settled. So Thomas, I take it you've been to Blue Marsh a couple times and didn't have much luck. I've been there a lot of times. I've had some luck and I've had a lot of not luck, but I know the fish are in there. We do good with Ned rigs in the early morning up there. Okay, keep going up there, Tom. You'll get them. What else do I got here that we haven't hit on yet? Oh, wait a while. Just got a couple of these accessories. Got a couple bells for my rods tomorrow. Everybody's using them. I figured they got nice tones, don't they? I'll put them on my rods tomorrow and we'll see what happens. And then too, when I don't want to go too fast here, but I never fished because I live in Wisconsin. I know you live in Wisconsin. I remember that from 20 minutes ago. Anyway, for those of us that fish for these channel cats and we use liver, we know how hard it is to keep that liver on. Some people use whatever they want. I found this to be pretty nice. This is Mike's Magic Thread. You put the liver on your hook. You wrap this thread around that liver, and all you do is pull it snug. You don't have to tie a knot. It snugs up without knots. So you wrap it around there a few times, snug it up, wrap it a little bit more, snug it up, cut it off, and you got it. You don't need to use knots with this. This is magic. You guys know about that? Or am I showing you something that you already do? Anthony, I don't know what you mean by that. That sounds like sarcasm to me. I never fish because I live in Wisconsin. Oh, what else we got? Time flies when you're having fun. It's almost coming up on 7:30. I'll have to show that to Steve. He uses dental floss, and I know he sits there and he twists it and twists it and twists it and then ties it up. And I've seen that, but yeah, I'll show Steve the next time I see him. But I think he said something about dental floss is cheap, so that's why he uses that. But yeah, he may not know about that. I'll have to show it to him. I looked all over for that in the arts and crafts stores. I can't find it. I got to get it online. I get it on eBay. Forrest lived in Berks for years. A lot of fishing always. Like the Schuylkill, C-H-U-Y-L. The Schuylkill. Spelled that wrong. Surgical netting. Yeah, I use that too. They come in squares. I guess they're 3x3 squares. Put your liver in there. Get the netting up around it. Put a little bit of that stuff on there to tie it off. That's what they use for salmon eggs when they're fishing for salmon. Those nettings and the magic line. The surgical netting. I have been using that. I haven't used it this year yet, but yeah, I have some in my tackle box. I don't put bait on. Thomas, what are you doing? I don't put my bait on the hook. Whew, maybe that's why you're not catching nothing. I don't know. I'm being sarcastic, Tom. I don't fish for trout anymore. I've been through that stage. Haven't fished for trout for many, many, many years. Although my steelhead's on the wall right there, my 14-pound steelhead from the Salmon River up in New York in 1984. Oh, the hair rig. Yeah, okay. I just heard about them not too long ago, and who was I talking to? Bob. I was talking to Bob about that just the other day. He showed me how they work. So I've never used them. He uses them for carp. I guess that's what you're doing too, but and you use trout for bait. Yep. If you got some trout, that'll probably work good. I know Bob's been using that the last couple times he's been out. Trout heads. I don't have any sunfish yet to use for cut bait. I'm going to take the water temperature tomorrow. I'm sure that's probably down a little bit. It just won't, as long as it keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down, it's going to keep the flatheads from moving around too much. Yeah, I guess it would work for anything, Tom. The hair rigs. I don't know anything about them. I just found out about them recently. I asked Bob from Anything Is Possible. I said, "What is that? Show me what that is. Tell me what that is." And he showed me how he sets that up for carp. So, but I've seen pictures of that for the last couple of years. I just never knew what it was even called. So that's something new for me. Maybe one of these days I'll get a couple. If I get going for carp up at Green Lane, I'll try that. Or some catch too. I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. I said I'd be on an hour. I do appreciate everybody coming in. I really do. I hope you're not being too bored to death. I don't know what next week will be, but tomorrow again I'm going to be 9 o'clock. I will be in Struble Lake. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Tomorrow I'll be at 9 o'clock. I'll be on the river live. Struble Lake. Yeah, I get on there with my kayak. It's full of pretty nice crappies, perch. There's some nice bass in there. People tell me, I know there used to be walleyes. There might still be, and if there is, they're probably pretty big, but I haven't seen a walleye out of that lake for a while. But Struble's worth it. It's electric motor only, and you can catch the heck out of crappies. I always enjoy going there. Thanks, butterflies. I appreciate the compliment, and I do hope so. Because again, I don't know anything about everything. I don't know everything about any. I don't know a whole lot of stuff, but I have fun talking about stuff that I do know about. I'm always looking for more info though. So, Ed, you're a good source of info. Tom, I'm sure you are. Forrest, everybody, butterflies. I'm sure you could probably help too. So anyway, I'm going to go watch the Phillies game. Maybe they'll wake up tonight and beat Atlanta and catch them up. Yep. And hope to see you in the morning. If not, I'll figure out something for next Wednesday, or maybe we'll just open up a chat and see where it goes rather than a certain subject. But anyway, again, thanks for coming in. I'll see you folks when I see you. Ed, I hope you liked that book. Did you read any of it at all? Take a peek at it. For priority mail, it sure took them a long darn time. See you later, Anthony. You should have had it in 2 days or 3, which would have been Saturday. So I don't know what the post office was doing. Anywho. That's what it's made for, Ed. Put it right there near the throne, and It lets you relax a little bit, and you can read one or two of the short stories. Okay. Everybody, again, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. See you later. Hopefully tomorrow. Bye. Now I got to figure out how to turn this off. Oh, end stream. There it goes. Bye.